Good. Yeah.
All right, we'll call our joint meeting together here. We've already done the pledge of allegiance. County council part. So commissioners are now joining your joint commissioner. Make sure for the council meeting. Sound good? Everybody good with that? Then looks like we have an agenda and somebody's already up there. Brett, you ready? Great.
Good. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Stahl. I'm the Executive Director of Girls Inc. here in Madison. And I have with me our summer intern. This is Caitlin Madden. She's a Hanover College student and she's working on her bachelor's in business. So she is learning all the different aspects of a small not-for-profit. So we'll see if she, so far so good. She survived the summer so far. So we'll see. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Girls Inc., our mission is to inspire girls to be strong, smart, and bold. And we are very much about intentional programming. We offer a pro-girl environment, which we feel is important, and we strive to do evidence-based programming. And you might not know, the three pillars of what we focus all of our programming around are academic enrichment and support, healthy living, and life skills. So those are the three point out that as promised last year, we now are in Southwestern doing programming.
Good.
So do you remember we had that conversation?
Good.
So we are doing the playground project with second and third graders. And we actually had, between Southwestern and Deputy, we had 76 girls enroll that first time. And that program, basically, they give up, a few weeks of their playground time to do some programming on relationship building and what is a good friend and those kinds of things. So so it's a real short program, but it really is a lot of fun. So we've gotten a really good response to that. And then I sent you a 2024 in review. So it has a little bit of everything in it. It has pictures, it has some statistics, if that's what you would like to look at. I would like to point out that we actually were awarded Affiliate of the Year last year from a small Affiliate of the Year from our national organization. So Christian was presented that at our national conference, and that's the second time we've actually won that. So, and we were, we're up against affiliates across the country and in Canada. So I'm very proud of that. And then on the back of that, it's just sort of who we serve. So you can kind of see the numbers of girls that we served and who came to the downtown center, who did our outreach programming. Since COVID, our outreach programming has really grown. And that currently is funded by a grant through Bethany Legacy. So we're asking, the programming that we're asking you to support is our center-based programming for now. And so I sent our budget as well, sort of outlining what that looks like for us and how much it actually costs us to do that programming and what we're asking you to do. So so I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Anything I sent you or anything else?
And I apologize.
Yep.
I appreciate Sarah sending all the information and you checked our boxes and got everything that we hope to see. But I actually didn't see the ask. It's not on, is it on the 2026? That technically, I think what she was is an attachment with 2026 ask is the one that's printed.
I thought I sent a budget. Maybe I didn't send a budget.
You did, but I did not.
A budget request.
Well, it was the 2024 financial statements and then the 2025 approved budget. But as far as the ask for this next year, I couldn't find that.
Yeah, it's blank.
It's blank on this one, yeah, on the
I'm
actual, no, it's okay, yeah, just when we're obviously taking into consideration how much we have.
Sorry, that just did not
Okay.
come through.
And
So
you provided all the details with the 2024 review financial statements and then your full 2025 budget to see next year's guidance. And you could get that
You can always
to us
get that
later.
back to us. I'll send it to her when I get home. I'm
Okay.
sorry, Sarah. I missed that.
I just wanna make sure I didn't miss it.
That's my bad. That's my bad. I'm
No
sorry about
worries.
that.
I really think it's exciting. I just thought I might comment their outreach program to the Southwestern and Deputy community. And to know that you have the response of 76, that is impactful. to
We were
me.
surprised. I'll be
Yeah,
honest
I am
with you, we were
too.
a little surprised
Because
that we
I mean,
had that. first-
that seems like it's the distance. I didn't really know if you would have much participation and to
Yeah,
have really the numbers of 76. That's amazing.
yeah,
That's really a great number.
yeah.
So
And
kudos
it's
to you guys.
Well, and we're trying to make an effort to reach out to the girls who are out in the county who aren't gonna come to the center. They're never gonna come to the center.
Yeah.
And just being able to try to engage them in our programming, so yeah, I'm really excited about where all of that's
Yeah.
going. I don't expect that is not going to grow again
Mhm.
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, I will send you budget as soon as I get it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
much.
Thanks, Susan. Thank you.
I do not see Linda here yet. Is she here? Heather, is Linda here yet?
No.
I can text her.
Hold on, just. Certainly go ahead.
Oh, she's here. I thought I heard her up there, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah. I know. I thought I heard her. Yeah, I know.
Hello.
Hello.
Everybody. Thank you for allowing us to speak a little bit on our request for 2025. But before we get into that, I really want to thank everyone for the generosity that you showed us last year. We had a little more than what we asked for, and my executive director's words, not mine, but if you so choose to do that this year, we would put that money to good use. So I'll just say that. I'm sure you guys have the letter of what we're requesting money for. But primarily this year, what we really want to focus on, among many things, is education of the staff and of our volunteers. And you guys understand what CASA does, right? Is everybody familiar? I think, and so we are entirely, our caseload is almost entirely managed by volunteers, by volunteer CASAs. What we have found over time is because of this, they need a great deal of support from the staff. So we have small staff, ton of volunteers sitting in the courtrooms, sitting in front of the judges, making recommendations. So they have to be very well trained. So part of the funds that we're requesting are for a little bit different platform of training that we're gonna do this year. We're gonna do a combination of live training, streaming, online, trying to hit all the volunteers in their way that they need to be educated. So there is some in here for, you will see that some for staff training and a national conference that they would go to, and that's how they find out about best practices and what's being done at the state level, national level, so forth. So that's it. Can I answer any questions? Pam, can you think of anything?
I think one of the things important to point out is the mental health training that's available that is going to be at Ivy Tech. That's one of the training.
Yes,
And that's available.
actually, I have a flyer on that. There's gonna be a, and this is not, we're, CASA is sponsoring this training. We are not providing the training. We have another person providing the training. But a lot of you have probably heard of mental health first aid certification that's out there for adults. There is also a child or a youth mental first aid, mental health first aid that is going to be September 17th. And we're gonna try to, and we're sponsoring this, so any of our CASAs, any of our board, any of our volunteers, because we have volunteers in several lanes. We have our volunteer CASAs, and they're the ones that are doing the big bulk of the work, but then also we have our board members. And then we have other people, friends of CASA, who help us with fundraisers and events and so forth. So this is one of the things, among many other things that our manager and our ED, our director Whitney want to put together for, when I say this year, I mean this year into next.
Just because of what the volunteers see on a daily basis with the children that they support through the court system, it's really important to have a staff that can support them as they have crisis. They can work them through those channels to provide support and education and give them the tools that they can make it through the court system. And if they don't have that training, then we don't have a successful CASA. And it's vitally important that they get that training.
Yeah, and it's a volunteer it's a volunteer role. I want to say that's a very heavy lift. I've done it. I did it for years. And I know what a heavy lift that is.
So
So
you're
that's the
helping,
only additional thing that I would say.
Okay.
so you're helping someone with trauma,
Yep,
and it's traumatizing. So
It is.
that makes you,
Oh my gosh.
it is. So that's what we find out too, is that, that secondary trauma to the folks that work with the kids that have had more trauma at a very young age than most of us will ever have in a lifetime. So we have to really support them and again, what we have found, we've tried lots of different ways of providing education. And what we have found is it's not a one size fits all. So we really have to branch out and do, a lot of our classes are old, and I don't want to say older. But many of them are retired, they're old like, but retired, unlike me. Seasoned. And we love them, they have lots of life experience, and we love our seasoned CASAs. But not all of our seasoned CASAs do so well on online training, streaming, things like that. So with this kind of, push for more training on a monthly basis and good trainings, very, very good trainings. It does cost. There's cost associated with all of this, as you can know.
y'all had a great car show,
I know, and that's your country.
That was
We were very excited about that. We were pretty excited. It was fun. It was a lot of fun in weather. Oh my gosh.
I didn't know, you may not know this, I was just curious, because when I was reviewing it, I didn't, no, I didn't recognize it. It looks like maybe the previous income source was called third round. And it's listed as 0 in your 2025 budget. Where it was up to your income sources, such a successful fundraiser you are with the pieces, it's always so impressive, but yeah, I was just curious, I just hadn't heard of that third round, what that is.
Isn't that something that we get from the court system, the third? I think I'll explain this poorly, but I'll try. There is some money available through the court system, and it is given out to agencies that are supporting kids, with trauma. I don't see here.
No.
So I'm sure they get some of that money, but we don't know how much that's going to be.
Yeah, and I think that's listed, but, yeah, and maybe that's another source to the court system and just an maybe, I was just curious, it had 0,
Well, actually.
I just never heard of it,
So,
that's-
she knows much more about that kind of stuff than I do, so.
So some of it's a grant and some of it doesn't cycle, and sometimes we do not receive those fundings. But primarily CASA receives their funding from our fundraisers and then our VOCA grant.
Yeah, and I
And
wanna say,
the VOCA grant that we receive annually pays for our salary. And the rest of the operation, we primarily, are fundraisers, and that's how we pay for our rent and our utilities and our programs.
and I wanna say, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Pam, but about 80% of our budget comes from both the grants and that's the Victims of Crime Act,
Fact.
which applies to our organization. It has been, we have in the past got generous donations. The thing of it is, it's just like everything else out there. hard to have other ways. That's why we've picked up the car show and some other fundraisers and other things that we do in between soup, stew, chili, brew, and other income sources. We're trying to position ourselves to be financially stable as,
And we are,
yeah, and we are. I mean, we are.
but we
But
work very hard
yeah,
to ensure that we are financially stable.
even, you know, in light of getting less of VOCA funding in the
Every year. Yeah, so.
Any other questions? No. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aaron Thomas.
Aaron is not here yet, but I can send David in.
Mhm.
Everybody,
Hello, David.
I've got some photos I'm gonna just pass around. I don't know if, I always think that everybody around here's been in the club a million times, and then I realize some people aren't super familiar with the gym. And since we are requesting money that's going towards remodeling the gym, I thought I'd give you some photos. As I noted in the request letter, I actually applied for funding from two other sources, and then we can use those to match with the United Way. But these are photos that I took for the Pacers Foundation, who they have a grant program that will redo an entire gym, but I think that's a pretty long shot because about everybody and their brother that owns a gym has applied for that money. Nevertheless, we are still on the list. And they might do some partial funding too, but that's why I have those. And I was trying to highlight some of the, when you look at it from a distance, it looks like it's in great shape, but there are some worn areas and things we could improve on. Before I dive into any more of that though, I wanted to share a few updates about the Boys and Girls Club in general. You might have seen an article in the paper a few weeks ago, which was talking about our summer learning labs, which is a program we're running right now for the first time ever. That's something sponsored through the state of Indiana and through a nonprofit in Indianapolis that then gets other places to run it. The nice thing about that program is it is fully funded, and we are required to not charge any money for it. So all the kids that are in it, and there's 120 enrolled, get 5 weeks of all-day care, including breakfast, lunch, afternoon snack, 3 hours of academic instruction in the morning, and then normal Boys and Girls Club in the afternoon. And that's 5 weeks, and we cannot charge them. So it's 120 kids that get to do that for free. And then in addition to that, we were able to have 30 kids get the rest of the 3 weeks of the summer free as well by using Jane's Kids. Normally Jane's Kids, we have to kind of spread out over the summer and use it for partial summers for lots of kids. But this year, because most of the summer was free, we could do it that way. So 120 kids, 5 weeks, and then 30 of those get the full summer for free. We're very excited about the fact that we can do something like that. We are averaging about 90 a day for a free program. That speaks pretty highly of the quality of it. And one other point that I want to make sure everybody knows, that we have hired teachers from Madison to run the academic portion of that. That's also a requirement, but that's been a very fun partnership too. So the other thing I wanted to note about that program is it is funding not just for the teachers, but the whole day. So they're also paying for a trip to Crystal Beach once a week too. The gentleman who's in charge of my programming said, well, tell those folks, we've taken 470 kids to the pool with no charge so far this summer. So I thought, well, that was pretty good. A lot of duplicates in that list, but we love being able to do that for kids. So some overview numbers of the club. In school year 2024-25, we had an average daily attendance, and that's our big number. How many kids do you get on average every day? Of 147. That was a big jump over the previous year where it was in the low 20s, 120, that is. And the other program highlight I wanted to mention is as long and as successful as the wrestling program has been, now I don't know all-time records, but it was the highest number of kids we've had enrolled in a very long time, and it was over 150, and it was a great always is a great program, but it was really outstanding this year. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is at the end of last year, we also just count total membership for the year. And at the end of last year, we were in the low 700s, a number of kids that we had in our doors at least once or more. And we've already crossed 700 for this year. So we don't know what that will mean, but I'm sure it's going to be far, far higher than 700. I would assume it's going to approach 1,000. It may not quite get that high, but it'll go up because whenever you start a new school year, you get that. So that's been very nice to see that growth and to see that we are able to provide those kinds of services to kids at no charge. And as is, I hope, pretty clear from the history of the club, we make heavy use out of the gym, not just the wrestling program, but the sports league. And then every day after school, it is full of kids, and we try to make use of it in every way we can. When I left just a little while ago, we are running a basketball clinic at the moment. And the reason I talk about that is not just because we're requesting gym remodeling money, but also because that floor, I mean, everybody knows you want to have a good quality gym floor. And that one is so worn smooth, you can practically ice skate on it. So one of the nice things about the budget for the gym is it's broken down into components where the floor is one part, the lighting is one part, painting the interior, and then replacing all the curtains and the goals and everything. We've broken it down. So if we're not able to raise the full amount of money for the entire gym remodel, we can do the critical parts, which is why I mentioned the gym floor, because that would be first on the list. I think lighting would be second, because those would actually pay for themselves in the long run. The difference in putting LED lighting in is tremendous in terms of your electric bill. So that is the request, and we have asked for $20,000 toward that. And I wanted to remind everyone that the United Way has a capital fund available for only capital projects like this at a 1-to-1 match. And it's my intention that any one of these grants or any other sources we have to do this would be doubled through using the United Way grant matching program. And that's pretty much it for me, unless anybody has any questions.
Pretty thorough.
Okay,
Sounds good.
well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you do.
And you can keep those pictures as souvenirs if you'd like them. They're just quick printouts, but thank you very much.
Thank you. On to Sarah.
Okay.
No, Aaron yet.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever. Hi, thanks again. I've got pictures too, because my request is something is for physical stuff. I also brought the numbers that Haley compiled are from the beginning of 2024 until today. And it's just Jefferson County, and it shows how many children we've seen at the CAC here from just Jefferson County. We've seen more children than the ones that are on here, because we see children from Germans and Italy, Switzerland, and any, if it's easier for them to come to this CAC, that's where we take them. Whatever we do, we try to reduce the trauma to children. So I asked for some changes to that beautiful new building. What we didn't plan for was an office downstairs, and instead we have the server room there. And it would be better for the kids if we could have the victim advocate downstairs right there with the family rather than upstairs. So what I was proposing was to box in the surfer and, and that's pretty much it for that room, to make it useful, because it has a door to the outside too. The other thing that, is problematic, I have these wooden floors, one of them is the stairway. And, the stairway is right next to the interview room, so if people are going up and down the stairs, and the child can hear that, it's a distraction. And the hallway up above there is also, you can hear it from the interview room, so this is really just to mitigate noise and things from the children in the interviews. And as long as I'm here, I just wanted to, I know there's can be confusion between CASA and the CAC and what we do with the filed advocates. And, I've been trying to work with Whitney to figure out an easy way to make that distinction. And what we do, we just work with, allegations of some that are being investigated. Any child, either through DCS, if there's some safety issue, or if there's maybe crime that's been committed, children come to us through the investigators. We don't make these decisions, we just do it. We have a very child-friendly way to speak to the kids, a child-friendly place where they can feel safe and comfortable. And we try to just get accurate information. That's pretty much it, isn't it? We work with them. Anyway, and so we're just in the investigation part, and we try to refer services to the families and the children so they can begin to heal if there was trauma or not. Whereas the CASA is on for the long haul with a child through whatever court stuff they have to do. They sometimes cross paths, but usually it would be after the CAC that they would maybe get assigned to CASA. And I don't know if that made it clear. I know there's a lot of confusion with it. What do you think? I think it's clear. But any questions?
Both are very important.
Yeah.
For the child to be
Right.
healthy and make it through the whole deal or whole deal.
Yeah, where the short term crisis stage and the long term get through crisis stage.
Just make sure I understood you right. The interview room's upstairs.
No, it's downstairs, but the stairway goes right up by it. The interviewer's office is right above it, so we did that on purpose, so the sound of her walking around would not be there. It's a beautiful place, but it's just not perfect. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sarah.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you, Emily. And Aaron.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Appreciate your time tonight. I know you guys are busy and get a lot, so again, I'm here representing the Jefferson County 4-H Fair. So we have extension, which we work with, and then we're the 4-H part of it. So we support all the 4-H in the county and everything. Our big event is the fair, so we just got over it, so I'm still trying to catch up with my sleep and everything, but we've been doing it since 1953. This year, we had 479 participants. And we have 86 adults that work with those participants. Those participants did 2,742 projects this year. So a lot of times we get pictured as the agricultural thing, but we have all kinds of projects out there. We get people from all across the county and everything participating. So we really do are blessed with a lot of support from everybody and a lot of participation from the kids and everything. for us, for 4-H, we gotta learn the budget, the rules, follow the guidelines, get tested at the end of it. So in doing that, the fair is kind of like our reward system for doing that. Kids want to do it because they get to come to the fair for a week, especially on the livestock projects. That's a big reward. So this year, we had a record auction. We sold 191 animals, $442,600. So, and that money all goes to the kids. So we keep the expenses for the auction and then everything else goes to the kids. So they get like 98.5% of that. So really good. They spend that money back in the community. They spend it back on there. We also donated over 4,000 pounds of beef, 9,100 pounds of pork, and 1,400 pounds of lamb to House of Hope. So we've been trying to partner with more organizations throughout the county so that we can get other nonprofits and everything involved in everything. So we've been really fortunate to be able to provide that to the House of Hope. Again, that's something that the local businesses have been tremendous of supporting the fair. We also do the nonprofits, so Boy Scouts, Lions Club, Southwestern across the board, and several local churches had booths out there, so we're one of their biggest fundraisers and everything. And then we don't keep track, but based on traffic and everything, we think we get about 20,000 people a year that traffic in and out of the fair for us and everything. Beyond that, we do work with Brett Copeland a lot at the Extension Agency. We've done a lot of animal science projects throughout the years, horse and pony, send people to 4-H camp and things like that. So we try to support that through our organization. We've been partnering with the county as long as anybody I know can remember that's on the fair board. And we really appreciate the county funding really helps us put on the fair, reward the kids, which again, the rewards for the kids is why the kids come and do the 4-H projects and everything. So that really helps, and the county's been very good at supporting us if we have needs across the ways and everything. So we do appreciate your support. We haven't really changed our request for funding, and since I've been on here, which is about 15 or 18 years, we also are seeing inflation like everybody else is. Our insurance is going through the roof because we're a high liability project, our utilities and everything like that. But we've been fortunate to increase fundraisers and everything to help offset the inflationary costs and everything. So we tried to do that so we don't have to go back and ask for more money from anybody to support us. And so far, we've been fortunate to do that. So, appreciate your time. If you got any questions for me, I'd be happy to attempt to answer them.
You do have a nice new beef barn and horse barn.
We do. Like I said, the community support for the auction, I mean, for almost $500,000 for animals is amazing. No other county has that in the state that I know of. And for Southern Indiana, if you go to another Southern Indiana fair, you won't be able to find somebody that has the youth participation that we have. There's counties in the state, but they're not small counties like down in here. And those barns and everything, we were able to get money from the Arvin Sangle Foundation, Community Foundation, Dow Horning Foundation. So we get a lot of big businesses that are willing to support to improve the infrastructure out there because they understand that between the auction and the infrastructure, it's what makes the kids want to come back. If you're in our 1960s barns that we had out there 10 years ago, it's not a lot of fun, but it's a lot more, it's a pride thing for the organization. So we do appreciate the community for that.
And you can see their passion when they show their animals too. I mean, they're just so proud.
Definitely. Every judge that came to the fair this year was just amazed they looked at us on the map and they said, okay, we'll be done in 15 minutes. The quality of the animals that come through here, and then they just said the kids are tremendous. They all thank the judge. They all are excited about the project. They can do that. If you've been on Facebook, they've all been posting with their buyers on Facebook. And again, that's the stuff we're trying to teach the kids. Please be good adults. Please be appreciative for what you're trying to do. And they do have a passion for it. And a lot of the leaders out there have been leaders. I mean, we have leaders that's been out there for 55 years. So it's a passionate group of people. And I'm pretty proud to be part of that organization. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
I know that Arvin Sango's got some tremendous employees too that were.
Yeah, they have some really good
Great.
ones. They have one at
Cream of the
Cream
crop.
really good. I don't remember.
I was gonna out here before I can ask for a raise or something.
Never miss a moment.
Plug it.
Wouldn't go around for nothing.
Never go back with one thing they got me down. Oh,
I guess
nobody knows her.
Mike.
Hey. Mike.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm Mike Sims. I'm the founder and chairman of Kindness Jefferson County. We've made some big headway since we started in 2022. Just to talk about this year, we recently just received a $40,000 donation from an individual in the community. We have received a $5,000 donation from Castleman Family McDonald's to start a free clothing store and hygiene items, pretty much a lot of stuff. The store expanded twice already this year, and Harold Hunt gave us an excellent deal on the space. We received a $5,000 donation from a school teacher and deputy from the company she just worked for. So to give back, and she didn't know we were going to do this, we're giving $1,000 back to the deputy school to buy any athletic equipment or anything. We've made a lot of headway with the sensory activation vehicle. We've tried to have it at every event we can. We are a non-profit that has all volunteers, so we can't make it to all of them. We had a footprint at the regatta and the 4-H fair. We brought in $3,500 on $1 a ball for a dunk tank. So that's 3,500 throws that we got. But I'm gonna turn it over to Tina Gooden, and she's gonna present our grant idea.
Okay, so trying to branch off, our mission with spreading kindness, we want to dive into the special needs population. So we're here today to ask for a grant in getting a sensory room up and going. I've recently been blessed in opening a new gymnastics space in Madison Riverside Gymnastics Academy that should be opening its doors by the end of August, beginning of September. Mike and I were recently having a conversation about the space and came up with a really grand idea. There's a walled off area, about 1,000 square feet. That would be the perfect home for an indoor sensory space to reach our special needs population, which is something that's very personal to me. My 8-year-old daughter, Reagan, is autistic. So I can give a good personal perspective on the hardship special needs families face. Diagnosed at Riley Children's in May of 2021. We were placed on what's called a waiver wait list for Medicaid. So basically where it waives your income, where the child can be accepted into Medicaid. And then you get Medicaid benefits that pay for services like ABA therapy, PTOT, whatever the child needs. We were not approved until June of 2024. So that was a 3-year gap where we didn't have services. So our hope is that we can bridge that gap and make this an open door environment for these children with special needs to come in and have a good sensory outlet. A little more on the space that we want to develop. The grant money that we're asking for, we're hoping that can be used to renovate this space and then supply equipment. And gymnastics being at my heart, I was a competitive gymnast here in Madison from 6 years old on through high school. I was then recruited for the collegiate level and went to West Virginia University for 4 years. And I'm hoping to incorporate that sport into this space for kids because it can be significantly helpful in fostering their neuro and motor control for both neurodivergent and neurotypical kids. But looking at equipment, bars, beam, we want swings, slides, a ball pit, inflatable obstacle course. Those are all fabulous resources to have sensory stimulation for these kids that may not be able to get it elsewhere. On top of the money to renovate and supply equipment, we want to be able to supply vouchers to these families and other families that can come in and enjoy, because it'll be a full functioning gymnastics facility. And that way we can broaden our availability to the Jefferson County community and be more inclusive. Gymnastics in general will help fostering stress reduction, improve focus, emotional regulation, motor and cognitive development, and then socialization. We believe with funding, we can make this idea possible. Any questions? little more, I don't know if this was in your guys' handout, but also for the pricing on, classes can range from $55 to $85 a month, and obviously that's a big, for some families, that's a really financial hardship. So if we have the vouchers, then we can get those kids that are a little bit more underprivileged and give them, access and the ability to maybe participate in the gym, whether that's through classes or open gyms. We'd like to be able to fund both of those.
Mike, I guess this one's directed towards you. Obviously this project being separate, but under the umbrella of Kindness Jefferson County. Your budget that was presented just shows, kind of your ending balance per month. Doesn't show, there was no information submitted for, income and disbursements as far as, you know, everything from rent to utilities to internet to, you know, for kindness, what other grants you're getting and, you know, all your income sources. Can you provide that?
We can't,
budget information?
yeah, I'm
maybe
sorry,
to-
Kathy
to
Harrison,
Heather?
that our treasurer, so I
It
didn't.
just shows kind of your ending balance for each month this year up until the midpoint is all we have.
Yeah, we can provide, we use the same software accounting program as township trustees do. It's Tom's Web. And they fixed it for us and so the program offs are easy. We can get those for you.
Okay.
So we'll get those sent.
Yeah, if you send it to Sarah, then they can get it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you, just next to our booth at the fair, the Special Olympics, have you had any?
I've had contact with one of their members, and that is gonna be another avenue to see about
Just seems
them.
like they're trying to restart in
Yes.
Jefferson and Switzerland County.
Yep, and obviously you have gymnastics in the Special Olympics, so, yes, I talked with one about potentially partnering and bringing that in. You know, like I said, the special needs part of it is obviously it's close to home for me. It's not been an easy road, and if I can provide something to help, with those kids, you know, them being able to come in, if you did a class of 5 special needs children, they got to come into the gym for 2 hours unhindered with nobody else in there, where there's stimulation for that could be the world for them. And I plan to do that on a routine basis. That's part of my, which, like Heather pointed out, very much separate from, you know, me running my business, but then having the nonprofit side of it helping. But that will be a regular thing. I have it mapped out kind of in my timeframes for classes to get those special needs kiddos in. And I've had a good response. Some of you might have seen my post I recently made a post on Facebook about the gym opening. And I have had several special needs families that have contacted me, and we're really excited to see that be part of the program at the gym. So exciting stuff hopefully to happen. We've had a good number of kids. I already have, my space is getting ready to start renovations next week, and I have 40 kids signed up for gymnastics classes already without that facility being open, so.
Would other kids, Mike, in other counties be allowed to come to this too, if the way it's structured or not?
I don't know. That's a iffy, cause we sometimes have people come in the store that.
Right.
We're not gonna turn anybody away. I don't know. I think we'll have to look at that case by case. I would really like us to provide services for Jefferson County children. Because once the word gets out that it's other counties that we will do the grant with, you know, and vouchers, then it's just gonna come from everyone.
Hope so.
The voucher specifically Jefferson County isn't a bad idea.
I mean, we do it now with a lot of stuff with kids and adults. If we hear of a child's been bullied in the county or something, one of our female board members or advocates takes them out, does something with them. There's a guy that just had a heart attack. We have an advocate that's advocating for him right now because he can't really do stuff. So we do a lot of stuff kind of like that voucher type program for people right now.
Good.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Heather, I'll get those financial, you want me to send them to?
Send them to Sarah or Heather, and they'll share them with the commissioners and the council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have multiple headers. Three of us actually.
How do we say?
Yes.
First name, let's see.
Carrie? Next.
Hello, so many familiar faces coming back this year. Thanks for your time. We have a lot of information in the letter, so I know it's 3 to 5 minutes and we're trying to get through. I just wanna be able to answer questions. My name's Carrie Ketman. I'm with Safe Passage, the executive director of that organization. We serve 6 counties, including Jefferson County, with our 24/7 intervention and prevention services, all things domestic violence and sexual assault. So we had quite a few numbers here. What we asked for from all of our cities and counties is to provide a little bit of a support to offset. You've heard some discussion of state and federal funding and VOCA funding and how uncertain that climate is. So when we are able to get support from our partners in government across our 6 counties, that allows it to keep that amount down a little bit, and then we make up the difference through fundraising and other mechanisms. So we have our satellite outreach office right here in the clearinghouse. We also have bordering offices in Beebe and Versailles where we will see Jefferson County clients if that is a safer location. We have a 24/7 emergency shelter. That's one county over in Ripley where we serve clients. The number that's not in here, because I didn't have it prepared at the time that we submitted this, I was really excited to review the prevention programming numbers. Within the last year, we have hired and trained a Jefferson County specific primary prevention specialist that also works out of the clearinghouse. And the youth that we have reached has gone from roughly 4,000 to 5,025, including adding Madison schools last year with her services. So we're not just in trying to combat violence after it happens. You know, but it's kind of spokes in the wheel. Intervention leads into prevention, which then leads into intervention. It's hard to silo out. What I mean by that is when we go in for our high school programming and we talk about consent education and bystander intervention, a lot of times the kids are realizing that they might not be in a healthy environment, and then we stay after, talk with them. That's where the other advocacy centers come into place. So you saw me with Sarah in the back. We work arm in arm with the Children's Advocacy Center. And sometimes trauma can't be substantiated, or there are issues with a legal case that doesn't make it any less real for that individual. So not all cases and not all people choose to go through the court system in order to get the needs met to address that trauma. And we are there for as long as they need in order to do that. All of our services are free. All of our services are confidential. And again, it's as much or as little as they want. It goes through health and wellness, through support group, you know, we safety plan every step of the way. And then of course our primary prevention specialists that are in the school. So.
What, is that a certain grade? And then you said high school, because you said up to like over 5,000, we only have like 1,300 total.
That's across all counties, but that 1,000, a large part of that 1,000 student touch point increase was because we added Madison schools this last year.
Are you in
at the high
Southwestern
school.
Shaw also?
We are. So we are in the elementary, middle and high school with programming. At the elementary level, it's more character asset development. If you've heard of the 40 developmental assets, we're trying to replace risk factors with protective factors with our kids and having those conversations at that age appropriate level that way. We get into middle school and we start talking about, you know, what does it mean when your friend won't be your friend unless you share your locations? You know, we start having those conversations with kids to kind of identify sexual assault and domestic violence is about power and control. So looking at the themes that start, especially in that middle school age, is critical. So we do a lot of programming that way. Then we get more advanced content in our high school and also Hanover programming, where we're in the last 3 years, we've been fortunate to have touch points with every incoming freshman during their orientation at Hanover. So that's been super helpful to address some of these issues, but that's that bystander intervention, consent education, all of those types of more advanced themes for our teenagers that that we're in there to support them on. So it's, yes, it's every level. Gosh, 3 to 5 goes fast, and I think I may have said this last year, but I'm just amazed at what you have to hear in terms of all of us working together. It feels like all of us are sort of trying to,
Same.
yeah, like, you
Very
know, I was a
important.
4-H kid, and having that pro-social activity, say, you know, it just all of these asks really complement each other, so.
Mhm.
For us to have, all of us collectively as nonprofits to have an opportunity for the county and the cities to support us, we really appreciate it.
I feel like this is a fraction, we're kind of a, I shouldn't say mecca for not-for-profits, but the last time I looked up the statistics in this area, we have far beyond what is a norm. Just the pure number of 501c3s, so I feel like even this, how amazing, and it's hard for us to make so many tough decisions with dollars gifted, but there's that many more still out there that, for whatever reason, didn't make the ask, but yeah, there's just such a volume of not-for-profits and everyone has needs, that's for sure.
And we are always networking behind the scenes, the partners that come in here to work together to provide the needs of Jefferson County, so thank you guys for doing your part.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we've went through that part, so I might entertain a motion to,
Can I interrupt?
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure.
Sorry. I don't know if that's protocol, but that's what I'm doing.
well, please.
I just, some of you guys I have already met, some, I have not, but I wanted to get my face out there and get you guys my card. So my name is Ani Morley, and right now I am the interim director for Jefferson County Court Services. So as of the very end of June, Jason Granning works there, and so I was the chief deputy PO for the adult side anyway, so Judge Moe has appointed me interim director. Bearing him telling me I can't, I have no intention of leaving, but my thing is, I'm new to all this. Day-to-day operations, social work, I've been in some sort of social work for 20+ years. So I am new to writing grants and things like that, but I also wanted to be here just to, I have cards, that sort of thing, so you guys can see my face. I can meet you guys, see you out in the community, things like that. I've grown up in Jefferson County. So I just came to kind of put myself out there and let you guys know who I am and what's important to me, so.
So when do you start your role now?
Oh, yes, I started
3 weeks ago.
6/29, something like that, yeah, 3 weeks ago. So,
Okay.
Yeah, we'll take a card.
sure. So I was like, I'm just gonna show up and pass out.
Well, I appreciate you waiting.
I can't remember, are you, which one of us councils on community corrections board?
I am.
Right, okay. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you, being a part of this. I met with, someone in the JCAP.
Paul,
No,
Jessica.
Jessica, yeah, I met with her. Yeah, I just met with her a few weeks ago and really excited about, doing a program with the JCAP.
Oh, I think it's going to be phenomenal, and the amount of time that they got is huge. We just had a meeting with a big group of people. It's really impressive.
Yeah, I met
we're
with
very
her.
excited.
Gosh, I think it was, a couple of weeks ago, it was towards the end of June. And probably it must have been right before you started. Yeah, so I'm really excited to get started with her. We're gonna start, doing some financial education in the jails in August, yeah.
Yeah, she was presenting that to the JCAP team as well, which it's really awesome, and to be able to get that started and
Yeah,
around.
so, yeah, welcome aboard then.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
right,
I'm
both
excited.
feet all at one time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been here 8 years with them, and well, honestly, for before that, I was with State Patrol, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, so. So that's kind of my spiel. Sorry, I just wanted to let people know and introduce myself.
Appreciate it.
I'm sorry if it was out of turn or however.
No, appreciate it.
Bonnie being in her new role, she's already got to deal with me a few times, me asking her questions as far as things moving forward and offices and so forth, so I appreciate all your help and communication.
Hey, right back at you. I appreciate that as well.
Big position.
It is. And, but thankfully, I mean, my biggest thing is my leadership team, their strengths, you know, my weaknesses are highlighted by their strengths. So that's what's been really important to me is keep us having all of our strengths
Good.
at that table, so.
Most people's palms sweat when they hear the word grant, so.
Oh, good.
I can say that I have at times, or
Grant, corrections, it's like, oh,
yeah, just my face starts to twitch.
With grant, yeah.
Everyone's like, it's fine. I'm like, no, I've always had this. It's okay. No. It's just,
Always. 2 weeks.
sure.
That's a lot.
I'm like, the people aspect I have, it's the grants and all the behind the scenes that I'm getting the fast track, but.
It's the same thing with our health department. I don't think the average
Jump
person
in with both
understands
feet
that
and
administrative and grant
It'll all be
responsibilities.
okay.
Well, that's why I'm like, the best I can do is be honest and tell people I don't know, or I will find them an answer. I mean, so that's, and I'm not, I don't wanna say I'm not sensitive, but you know, directness works with me too. You're not gonna hurt my feelings sort of thing as far as if I make mistakes, I'll own it.
Right.
You're just laying it all out there tonight.
It's been one of those days, can you tell? I'm just like, look, here's what I'm trying to do. It's the end of a grant cycle. So,
Yeah. Well, good luck and welcome aboard.
thank you. Thank you for listening to me.
You're welcome.
Glad you came.
I assume Aaron, obviously Thompson's not coming now. I was just curious and I just lost my page. I didn't know if there were any, I was trying to remember if there was anything missing from the OneDrive folder from hers. Like if there was anything that would jump out at us as far as questions. I think I just found it again. I was gonna say there was a budget submitted, obviously. Yeah, and it's their stat sheet.
Every time I was on turn.
Yeah, just for, I mean, obviously, sure, there's reasons she's not here, but. Any further discussion and all of our asks as far as, yeah, I didn't know. If there was anything missing that we wanted to follow up and get from her, but. I think everyone's on them, drive, we can take a look at that. I know, I just have to ask, last year's a little different, but the first time this whole year too, that we. Instead of asking all these folks to come to a commissioners meeting, they come to council, and then a lot of our discussion waited all the way until budget. Are we looking to meet again about this side of things, the not-for-profit funds, or are we waiting until budgeting? For this body of 10?
Wait.
Yeah, my thought was the commissioners will give us their recommendations on the budget, and then we'll review it as we go through the budget sessions, if that's agreeable with everyone.
Yeah, I didn't think we were talking about having another meeting prior to budgeting to discuss just NFP funds, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. And we'll look at your recommendations at budget time, and then we'll discuss if there's anything different, right?
That's good. Okay.
Motion adjourned.
Got all that.
Awesome.
Anybody want to second that?
I'll second.